Today's reading is from Luke chapter 10. In the previous chapter, Jesus had been telling the disciples that he was on a deadline to basically go to Jerusalem, where Jesus had some awareness that things would be put in motion for his death. They begin the journey with a lot of teaching, miracles, and opposition along the way, and we hear about a welcome break at the home of two women, Mary and Martha. You may remember me before talking about the extreme number of Marys talked in the Gospels. But given the story isn't recorded anywhere else, it's best to see this one as a standalone tale and resist the temptation to connect the spurious dots to other Marys that you may remember, and also to wonder about the recommendation. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister, Mary, sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner that she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, "Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me." But the Lord said to her, "My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her."
All right, a little bit something different for you this morning. Ladies, if you could assist me. I've got a couple helpers that are passing out some supplies for your participation in the sermon today. Everybody is going to get a sheet of paper. Everybody is going to get a nice pre-sharpened pencil. And I'm explaining this not so much for you because it's obvious, but for those who may be watching at home or who will listen to the audio of this later. It's just a blank, letter-sized piece of paper that you might find in your printer or your copy machine. So if you are watching right now from home or if you're listening later, you can participate in this exercise. I encourage you to do so, in fact. Go to your printer, get out a sheet of paper for yourself. You can just tear out a sheet of paper from a legal pad as well, and everyone here will be joining you. So at home, grab that writing instrument, and once everybody has their paper and pencil, we will continue. I just love this. Everybody's now like, what is happening here? Pardon? You're just getting a piece of paper right now, honey. Yeah. Yeah, no further instructions were provided. Yeah. That's right. Pay attention over there, Karen. Come on now. Do what? There will be no math. There will be no math. Well, maybe just a little, but I'll provide the answer for you here. All right? Do you have a piece of paper? Anybody missing a piece of paper? The sound booth, yeah, of course they are. And do you have a pencil? Anybody missing? We're missing a pencil right up here. Y'all are doing great, ladies. This is Rob Dixon's granddaughters, by the way, and his daughter that are helping us today. So thank y'all very much, girls. You might remember them. They were with us. Was it last year, Rob? About a year ago this time, and they were doing the Irish dancing, and they're like world champions and just fantastic. And they're back with us today. I was wondering if I could get a piece of paper. Yeah. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. Take your piece of paper. Thank you. Take your piece of paper, fold it one time. This is not origami class, but... Now, once you get it folded once, really give that crease, take your thumb and your finger and give that crease make a good strong line. Excellent. All right, now fold it again. That's 2. Work the creases. All right, fold it again. That's 3. about the size of a business card now. You guessed it. Fold it one more time. That's 4. We'll work with this one just a second. And one more time, that 5th time. Now I am told that you can only fold a piece of paper about 7 or 8 times. I don't know if that's true. Don't start doing it right now. We've got another exercise to do. Because by the time you get to 7 or 8 folds, it's so small that the paper will start tearing, and there's even some theories that it begins to double upon itself so high you would actually need a machine to help with those last few folds. But 5 folds should be enough. And I'm just talking right now so that you're working those creases real strong, all right? Now, let's open it up. All right, got it? Now hold it up to the light. This is the only math portion of the program. You should have 32 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, down the top, up over the top or side, whichever way you hold it. You have 32 squares, a 32 square box grid in your hand now. Everybody got it? All right, now take your pencil, and maybe in that top right-hand corner, I want you to write down an ambition or an activity that you would like to participate in. Now, it could be, I want to graduate from college. Or it could be, I'm going to start a family. It could be, I want to travel to Europe. I want to buy a house. I want to go to Disney World. I want to take a mission trip. I want to retire. I want to learn to sail. Write something down in that first box that is an ambition of yours. No one's going to see it but you. All right, after that, you're going to move to the second box, and you're going to fill in something like, play golf in Scotland, see my grandchildren graduate from high school, find more time to read. This isn't necessarily a bucket list challenge. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's just an activity or an ambition that is important to you personally. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to start filling in boxes. As many as you can get in. Okay, now turn that paper over to the blank side. Now, what you're going to do is put one word on the back of the square where you have described something that you want to do. The one word is why you want to do that. The benefit that you are receiving from this activity that you have chosen. For example, if you put on there, I want to travel to Europe as an activity, let's say the benefit of that is adventure. If you put there, graduate from college on one side, maybe the benefit is accomplishment. I'll give you an example. I'll give you my own example. This is my 32 squares that I started this week. I said, maybe I'll write another book. And you see on the other side, I put the word legacy because I always have this gnawing anxiety that my work doesn't really matter. I think that's one of my psychoses that I have. Number 2, I want to visit Scotland. That's a family thing. To see where all those McBrayers came from. Finish the farm renovation. That's an accomplishment piece. Book a backsliders tour. Doesn't that sound like fun? I just put adventure for that one right there. Are you following me here? So look at your activities, and to match that activity, what is the actual value or benefit you are attaching to it? You have 30 seconds. right, there you go. Now, if I were doing this activity with you and we had complete time for it, ideally we would take a half an hour or 45 minutes to do this. I'd give you 10 or 15 minutes or so to fill out the activity side of the paper, and then I'd give you another 10 or 15 minutes to attach the benefit received by said activities, and then I would give you a final 10 or 15 minutes to do this, to circle the 3 or 4 words that show up the most on the back of that sheet of paper. Because those 3 or 4 words that show up the most on the back of that sheet of paper really begins to describe the essential you. What's really important to you. What you really value with your life. Complete this exercise and you will discover those things about you. What drives you, what motivates you, what inspires you. And I have completed this exercise with more than a few groups over the years, and it never fails to be instructive. It brings some great clarity as to why we do the things we do, why we want the things that we want. So you go home, finish this, and you have great insight into the essential person that you are. And if 32 squares isn't enough for you, I can email you an exhaustive self-assessment with 400 possible responses. That'll take you about 3 days to complete, but don't send it back to me if you do that. How many of us really know what our motivations are? How many of us really know what drives us? What are the pistons within the engine inside of us? Now, we can come up with an exhaustive grocery list of things we want to do or wish we had done as we get older. But why these particular lists? What benefits are we seeking? What values are lying beneath and driving our actions? Behavior specialists call this intrinsic motivation. I'm doing what I do not because of an outward reward or punishment, not because it is trendy or popular or what I can gain. I'm doing this because it brings enjoyment, it brings satisfaction, it brings gratification, it provides me with a value that is important to me. There's a great Zen story about a teacher who asked his young students why they ride their bicycles. And student 1 says, I ride my bicycle to bring groceries home to my mother. It makes the load lighter. And the teacher commends the student and says, you're very smart to protect your body or you'll be walking hunchback like I am one day. And the second student says, I ride my bicycle to enjoy the scenery. I can see more around me on the bike than when I'm merely walking. And the teacher says, your eyes are open to the world. And student 3 says, I ride my bicycle to live in harmony with all things. Well, that was a little highbrow, but the teacher praises the student anyway and says, your mind will one day be open. And the final student says this, I ride my bicycle because I enjoy riding my bicycle. And the teacher sat down at his disciples' feet and he says, you are truly enlightened and I'd like for you to teach me. That's how elemental it is. We do the things we do often, not always, but we are driven by an enjoyment, a satisfaction. We ride the bicycle because we enjoy riding the bicycle. Finding what really brings you joy in your life is like stumbling upon that pearl of great price hidden in a field. You transition from a machine who is just doing to a person who is beginning to understand. You simply aren't moving activity, ticking off all the items on your to-do list. You are living out of the deep, motivating core of your being. You see that those people who have the most active, busiest schedules aren't necessarily those who are living life to their fullest. Sometimes busyness is just a form of medication. Do you know that? If I stay busy, I don't have to think. I don't have to feel. I don't have to look inside myself or come to understand what I do and who I am. Endless, thoughtless activity eventually leads to just pure exhaustion. We're just throwing darts in the dark, trying to hit a target we can't even see. We have tons of things to do, but we haven't turned that page over to figure out why we are doing the things that we do. And so we come to Mary and Martha. This is a unique passage. Only Luke records the event. It is a dinner party, and Martha is hosting in her home, and Jesus and His disciples are her guests, the guests of honor, we might say. And Martha is busy. She's real busy. And I don't know if having the Son of God over for dinner was on her activity list, but here she is. And she's working hard. And when I've spoken from this text in the past, I've highlighted the possibility, the probability, that Martha is likely a perfectionist, or she suffers from obsessive compulsive disorder. Everything has to be just right. You may know this person. The main course, all those casseroles, the Caesar salad, 3 different desserts. And that's just when she got around to cooking, because before that, you can easily imagine her breaking her back, vacuuming the carpet, mopping all those floors, cleaning all those windows. And bless her heart, the sweat is just dripping off of her brow, and no one is lifting a finger to help her. You may know this person. It's hard. I shouldn't say. It's really hard to help a perfectionist. And to help a perfectionist, they need a professional therapist. To personally assist a perfectionist is a very difficult thing to do. Why? Because you can never really do it the way that the perfectionist wants it done. There it is. That's why I was trying to be so careful, but my wife has... We'll talk about this later, babe. They're just so insufferably exact. So there's a lot of withdrawal when you're dealing with a perfectionist. You just stay away from them once they get on a certain track, because all you're going to do is get in their way. Because it has to work out their way, and you can't seem to make them happy. And that works for a while until the perfectionist inner anger boils over. You know this person. Because perfection becomes this ruthless shackle that traps the one who is trying so hard. And then that's when the martyrdom kicks in. Can't you people see how hard I'm working? How I try to make things perfect for you? Don't you appreciate this good job that I'm doing? Would it kill you just to lift a finger and help a little bit? And perfection crosses into frustration. Frustration becomes resentment. Resentment becomes hostility. And these are all the lines that Martha is crossing in her kitchen. She storms into the living room where Jesus is quite comfortably telling all His never-ending stories, no doubt. Surrounded by that troop of burly men who could eat their weight in country fried steak and mashed potatoes. And there Mary is, little baby sister, right in the middle of it all. Well, Martha's not about to command Jesus to get into the kitchen and work some of that loaves and fish action, or at least some water into wine to ease my temper. But Jesus sure could help a lot by telling Mary to get in there and get to work. Lord, she asked this question, don't you care? Don't you care? I'm doing all this work, and you and this rugby team that travels around with you is just sitting there. So if you're not going to turn these coffee cups into biscuits, then maybe Mary could get into the kitchen and lend me a hand. I've spoken from this text many times, and I swear I've never really noticed the importance of verse number 40. It says, Martha was distracted. Martha would say that she was focused. We would say that she was focused. She's got stuff to get done. She's working on her list. But no, she's not focused. She is overwhelmed. She is as scattered, smothered, and covered as a Waffle House hash brown. She has committed herself to this busy, unrelenting activity, and now the activity unrelentingly has her by the throat. She's not focused, she's dazed, she's staggering, she's just knocked over. I love the King James Bible at verse number 40. It says it like this. This is so good. I should have had Anna read this in the King's English. She was cumbered about. Cumbered about. That's a good word. Next time you feel overwhelmed, I feel so cumbered about. I like the Greek word even better. The Greek word here means to be dragged around. You ever heard of this proverb? Let go or be dragged. It sounds like a Zen proverb. I first heard it from a friend of mine who had some experience training horses. And he said, you know, you get the bridles and the saddles and you're trying to break this horse and stay in the saddle. And then sometimes you just get a hold of a beast that's a lot more powerful than you are. And then you have a choice. You hang on to that horse and it drags you all over the corral, or you let go to save yourself. Have you ever seen parents, a mother and a father? Have you been the mother and a father that's dragging the child off the playground who doesn't want to leave? Right? They're just kicking and screaming and clawing the ground. The child can be loud, the child can throw a fit, but the child does not have the strength to impose her will upon the parents. Let go or be dragged. I've drugged my kids to the car many times. I'd probably be arrested. If I was a parent today, I would probably be arrested for some of the things that I did. Jesus didn't say it exactly like that, but he got close. My dear Martha. I love that part. He has no judgment. My dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. He doesn't condemn her. He appreciates all the effort, but he knows it's all just too much. Martha, honey, child, there's only one thing worth being concerned about. It's an ambiguous phrase. There are indications that Jesus was speaking of spiritual rather than physical food. It could be another way of saying, man shall not live by bread alone. But some translators and interpreters believe that Jesus wasn't necessarily spiritualizing the conversation. He was simply saying to Martha, one thing would have been enough. This big spread, this 7-course meal, it's not necessary. I could eat a peanut butter sandwich and be happy. A bowl of soup, something from a crock pot that would have been so much easier than all the work that you're putting into. So you put these two interpretations together and you find Jesus saying to Martha, saying to us, you don't have to impress me. Come and sit down with me. The many things are getting in the way of the important thing. You can't help me, Martha, by hurting yourself. In fact, you can't help anybody by hurting yourself. Because all your joy and your satisfaction and your fulfillment has simply evaporated from the room. So why would I send Mary over there to get on this hamster wheel of death with you? Stop. Breathe. Relax. It's enough. You're enough. We have everything that we need already, and you have everything that you need already. What a liberating, joy-giving response this is. Now, since I'm already in trouble at home, my wife calls me a minimalist. A minimalist. And maybe I am. I'm fond of saying that everything I really need would fit in the cab of my truck. I could lose most everything else and be okay with it. I'm certainly not, I'm just in trouble. Careful, yeah, I'm going to be real careful. I'm not a collector. How's that? Is that good? Opposites attract. But I digress. My friend Candy Miller has introduced into my vocabulary a different word that I prefer, and I've begun to use it. An essentialist. And I think I would prefer to be an essentialist over being a minimalist. And as I'm learning, a minimalist is concerned with having less stuff, fewer possessions, buying less, giving consumerism a bit of that cold shoulder. It's a material outward view that answers the question, is this enough? And I like that for sure. But an essentialist is one who seeks to untangle from the unnecessary, turning life toward the vital, the absolute crucial. It's not so much about having less, it's holding fiercely to what really counts. It's much more of an inward, focused view that answers the question, what really matters? Because we only have so much space. We only have so much time. We only have so much energy. Shouldn't we be using those limited personal resources on what is most consequential in our lives? Back to those folded sheets of paper, those 32 squares. You got Martha on one side, all the activity, all the doing, all the external, and you got Mary on the other side. It's all about motivations, the essentials that move and drive you. It's about the internal. So the big issue for you to wrestle with, the pack it up and take it home hook for you this morning, is not for you to leave here and over lunch today construct a bucket list. If that's what you do, you've missed the point. That's easy. It is to answer these questions instead. What is really essential to me and the life that I am living? What are those few things that really matter? And better, what is the one worthy concern? And have I put my hands and my heart upon it? There is only one thing worth being concerned about, Jesus said, and Mary has discovered it. And may that discovery be made by all of us.